covers aren't very cute. The covers, I think the boy has a chain around his neck and the girl is holding it. I don't know why that cover is not exemplified. That cover is not what the book is about. Hi, hello, welcome everybody to my channel. I am CHIOMA, aka Chi, and today I'm going to be talking about manga, some of my favorite mangas in all kinds of genres. I've been reading manga since I was like 16. When I was like 16, 15, 14, I'd read manga mad on the DL. Like I used to send my sister over to the manga section and be like, hey, go over there and get me Fruits Basket, volume 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, go. And I have no idea why. It's not like I wasn't already like a math nerd. Like no one would have any other stigma against me if I read manga, but you know, we move. So I'm going to talk about my favorite mangas in all these genres, all types of genres. If you need any recommendations, if you want to get into manga for the first time, you know, you want to dabble, you want to see what everyone's talking about in the manga sphere, stay tuned. So I'm going to start with the series that I know if you ever watch another one of my videos, you know that I have talked this series to death, and that is Devil's Line. Devil's Line. So I'd say Devil's Line fits into the paranormal, romance, a bit of suspense manga category. There's not a lot of volume, so you don't have to worry about like, you know, cashing out $350 for some manga like I have, as you can see there by my manga shelf. But I think there's only 15 volumes, so you know, it's a great starter one if you want to kind of see how paranormal mangas go, want to see how romancy mangas go. I absolutely love this series. This is a vampire kind of romance series. It focuses on a half devil, half human who works for the police, who is going up against a task force that wants to eliminate all of the devils or the vampires from society. This girl right here is his boo, and she's a human. So she also wants to help with this initiative to stop this counterculture group that wants to eliminate all devils, because not all devils are just kind of like blood-sucking vampires. Like there's a lot of ways that they can just live in society without having to kill humans. But you know, people real mad in this book. People real mad. The main character real angsty, got a lot of turmoil. This girl, she real cute, it's real nice. So it's mostly around like the suspense of the vampires versus this counterculture group, also versus like the human kind of stigma around them, and then the romance kind of comes after that. So I absolutely love this series. If you really like the Vampire Academy, like the Blue Bloods, you like real classic YA kind of vampires, I think Devil's Line is amazing because it has that sprinkle of romance, but also the suspense, and also kind of like, you know, the vampy tropes that we all love. So I think Devil's Line is a great beginner intro to paranormal, intro to romance manga to try out. Another manga that I absolutely recommend if you're into more kind of the supernatural, paranormal, more action-packed, more kind of like mystery, a lot of like different paranormal characters, The Ancient Magnus Bride by Hori Yamazaki is a really great one. So don't let the name fool you. Please don't let the name fool you. This is not a romance. So I love this series, and I wouldn't categorize it as a romance. I'd say this is paranormal, action, and friendship. I'd say it's more friendship just because the girl is 15, this skeleton guy is a skeleton, and I just think it's more of friendship. There's not really many romance elements. It's more about a really strong bond and really strong connection between the skeletal dude, I don't know why I keep calling him a skeleton dude, but between the skeleton dude and the main girl. So this one I think is a great intro if you really want kind of more action packed and you want to like really great kind of paranormal in all of its elements. Like there's a lot of different types of paranormal. There's mages, there's sorcerers, there's just kind of like ancient monsters, there's demons, there's talking cats. There's a lot of paranormal elements. I really enjoy that. This one is a bit longer, but it's one that's in progress. So this is volume 10, and I think up to now it's released in volume 13. So the first 10 I definitely recommend. Very, very action-packed, very just a great story. Each volume is just like, it's a whirlwind. So I definitely recommend this. Here's the art style if you are art style picky. If you are art style picky, I say I'm not, but I'm lying. So The Ancient Magnus Bride follows a girl who is orphaned. So her father leaves her and her mother commits suicide, and then she is bought by this horse dude. Yeah, so it sounds kind of creepy in the beginning, like she's bought by this horse dude, but he is a mage and he doesn't really know a lot about his history, and she knows that her history is kind of traumatic. So they kind of form a bond where he's training her to be a mage, similar to how he is. And they just kind of encounter every single thing that you could encounter in this world. So they are going through it. There are people trying to kill them, people trying to kill their friends, people trying to enslave people. They just, in their travels, they just come across every single obstacle, every single demon, every single bad thing that could come across them. So I definitely recommend this book. If you want a classic, so this is Inuyasha. If you grew up on anime, you've heard of Inuyasha, you may have seen it. The series remake actually coming up with CHIOMA, my husband, CHIOMA. So this is the first volume of Inuyasha. Inuyasha is a classic. Now, Inuyasha follows a girl who has the powers to go back to the feudal age. So she is actually the reincarnation of, you know, just trying to explain Inuyasha, I feel like it's gonna stress me out. But she's actually the reincarnation of this boy's ex, his first love. I don't know. But she has the power to see the ancient sacred jewel shards. So these jewel shards are needed to come together into one jewel in order to defeat the main evil of the feudal era, which is Naraku. Inuyasha is a half demon, half human himself, and he has a lot of angst about not being a full demon. His brother CHIOMA, my love, like the best anime character to ever come out of life, he is a full demon, and he doesn't like Inuyasha because he's a half demon, so they got a lot of angst. So it's kind of their adventures, and they pick up kind of friends along the way, and then they fight demons, and then it's a lot. It's a good anime to get into for your first anime because it has everything. It has all of it, has everything. It has romance, it has so much friendship, it has character development, character growth. Like, if you want to talk character growth and development, it's Inuyasha. So I highly recommend this. It takes place both in the modern era and in feudal Japan, so you're kind of jumping between them, not too much. It's mostly in feudal Japan where you're fighting demons, you're fighting demons. Even though Inuyasha himself is a demon, him and Kagome have a little thing, but Inuyasha still hung up on Kikyo. They meet all kinds of friends and demon friends who are also kind of like have some stake in this fight against Naraku, who is the ultimate evil. So this is a really good one. It is a really long one, so you might not want to buy all of the volumes. I know I don't have all of the volumes, but this is a great introduction to manga. So another great one, if you're into kind of more action, more paranormal, and more kind of like more of a new type of manga, I'd say Dr.Stone is a great one. So I've only read the first two volumes of Dr.Stone, but Dr.Stone is so good. So the premise of Dr.Stone is that for some reason, see, I'm only on volume 2, so I don't know the reason yet, but for some reason, all of this world, everyone gets frozen or encased in stone one day. So everyone's just doing their daily life, and then the whole entire world, everyone is encased in stone. So we don't really know if these people are alive, if they can breathe, if they're kind of conscious. We don't know that until one boy, who is kind of the boy genius of the school, breaks free of the stone. So he breaks free of the stone because he's been just counting the days, and he knows exactly what year it is and all that, because he's like a super genius. And then once he gets out of the stone, he kind of wants to go on the quest to kind of like find the antidote to getting out of the stone, so to kind of fix the whole world. So he is working, and then he's able to get the antidote to kind of like unstone people. So he unstones his friend, who's also more of like the brute force in their friend group. So he's just like, I'm gonna need some muscle to go along with my brain. So while he's thinking of the antidote, while he's thinking of all the ingredients, he unstones his friend, and then his friend becomes preoccupied with trying to unstone this girl he has a crush on. So that's a whole thing, but it's really about this boy and his quest to kind of unstone the world that has been encased in stone, find out why encased in stone, and then unstone all the people. He's met with a lot of obstacles and a lot of people who are just like, why do you want to unstone everyone? We can like start this world anew, it'll be just us, all kinds of things like that. So Dr. Stone is really kind of action, and it's really actually really funny because you have the juxtaposition with this like really nerdy, really like super like smart kind of character, and then this really like passionate and really like brute force type of character. So that contrast is really fun. I definitely recommend Dr. Stone if you're into action and a bit of little fantasy, little paranormal. So I really like Dr. Stone. Also a great intro manga to get. So we are going to jump into the world of shoujo for a second before we go back into the world of paranormal. So shoujo, basically in Japan, I'm pretty sure it's meant to be for teenage girls or for young adult girls. I'm not a teenager anymore, but your girl still loves some shoujo. So I love really like slice of life, really kind of like college or like high school romance type of books. So the first one I'm going to start with is A Little Monster. And so this one is available on Kindle Unlimited if you have a Kindle Unlimited account, and it's just kind of adorable but kind of also hilarious. So it's about a girl and a guy, and this main girl, she is kind of like the #1 at the school. She is the top of her class. All she does is study. All she wants to do is study so she can be like her mom and not like her dad. So that's her tunnel vision. She meets a boy who is a delinquent. So he got expelled for kind of like fighting and putting people in the hospital. So she's tasked, because she's such a model student, with giving him his homework even after he's been expelled. I'm not sure how that works, but that's her task. So when she goes to meet him, he's actually has a very dark aura, but then he's actually like really nice. He's like, thank you for bringing my homework, all these things. And then he kind of gets attached to her pretty quickly and is just like, let's be best friends. And she's just like, friends, I have schoolwork and I have to study. So it's a really interesting juxtaposition. And he does come back to school and she finds out that he is one of those annoying people where they don't have to study, they don't have to do homework, they don't do anything, and they still get top of class. So he gets number 1 and she gets number 2, and she's just like, why did I bring this boy back to school? He's still a delinquent. This is very frustrating. And a love chemistry kind of thing blossoms, and it's a very shy, very slow romance, but I loved this book. It was just so adorable. I think I read the whole thing. I read it all in one day. It was just so adorable. It's such a cute romance. It's such an angsty romance, and it's just, I really love it. So if you want just kind of like an introduction into like romance, slice of life, shoujo manga, I definitely recommend. It's adorable. So the next manga I'm going to talk about is Tokyo Ghoul, and Tokyo Ghoul is also one about vampires. In this book, they're actually called ghouls, and basically ghouls, they have to eat humans. So it's not the typical sucking of blood vampires. It's not the, I don't know what other kind of vampires are, but they have to actually eat people. So this one's very interesting. This one surrounds this main character, and in the beginning of the book goes on a date. He goes on a date with this girl who he sees likes the same type of books that he likes. This girl ends up asking him out and he's very excited. So they go on the date. He's walking her home at the end of the day and she just turns into a ghoul. It is really, really crazy. So she turns into a vampire and tries to eat him. In some strange, unfortunate, you know, anime type of trope, a piano or some construction falls on the girl and kills her and also injures him. So both of them are rushed to the hospital. The girl is pronounced dead immediately, and he would live if he had an immediate transplant. So in some type of unethical occurrences, the doctor actually transplants the organs from the dead ghoul into him. He wakes up the next day and hates food, can't eat, and has this hunger that he cannot satiate. All the food tastes disgusting to him until he sees someone assaulting a human in the alleyway, and all of a sudden his hunger comes up. So this one is very, very good. It's very similar to Devil's Line, honestly, but this one doesn't really have that romance element, but it's a lot more action-packed, and it's kind of coming of age in a vampire type way. So I really, really like Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul also has an anime that I didn't like as much as the manga. The manga is really, really great. The art style is beautiful. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. So those are all of my recommendations for some beginner mangas that you can try if you're looking to get into manga, or you kind of want to revitalize your love for manga, or if you just want to try some mangas in different genres. So let me know if you read any of these mangas, and I hope you guys like this video, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.